Welcome to week 13 of the GBA. This one's against Alex, or the Oklahoma City Thundurus. After a crushing loss last week, and with the playoffs just around the corner, this game is a must-win for both of us. With a win, I'll be able to clinch a playoff spot, and with a loss, I'm going to need a win next week and some help in order to make it. So right now I'm in control of my own destiny, and I'm going to take advantage of that. I led with Clefable because I saw that his team had a lot of Stealth Rock weak guys in Charizard and Thundurus, and no Spinner or Defogger, so I'm going to try and get them up as soon as I can because it's good damage against everything, and if I can do 50% damage to Zard X before it even gets in, then that's going to be sweet. However, he led with his Elf, so I'm afraid of Taunt, and I just went for an Ice Beam first turn, but he winds up going for Light Screen. I get a crit through it, which is kind of nice to get a first turn crit, and it's really kind of inconsequential, but it is still some extra damage on a guy that can't exactly heal itself. So second turn I set up my rocks as he goes for a Grass Knot, and Politoed, being calm and almost max special defense, is going to be able to eat those up all day. It's not particularly heavy, so I'm expecting to only take about a quarter, which is exactly what I take. So I only went into Politoed as kind of a pivot just to set up Rain and then go to Manaphy, because Manaphy is also extremely light and is not going to take much damage from Grass Knots, but he winds up switching out himself and going into Registeel, and this is kind of the matchup that I want, Manaphy versus Registeel with the Rain up, because I can set up on it all day. Status isn't going to do anything, Seismic Toss isn't going to do anything, so that's what I want, but he's got Light Screen up, so I'm not really going to be able to get very far, and I don't really want to sit in here if it's not going to be worth anything. So my switch in is Quagsire. I'm not expecting status, and even if he does go for status, like, I'm immune to Thunder Wave, which is likely. He could have gone for Toxic, which would have kind of been unfortunate, but I also wasn't really expecting it against the Hydration dude. He winds up going for Sandstorm, which is interesting. I feel like he would have been better served keeping that hidden and maybe bringing it out once Politoed goes down, because I'd probably sack Politoed, honestly, after his Hippowdon goes down, but he doesn't, and I'm expecting him to switch, expecting an Earthquake, but I didn't expect him to switch into Clefable, which I don't know why I didn't. That was really a bad move, and I got to take care of this thing pronto, because this thing has potential to set up Calm Minds and just sweep through my entire team. Politoed should be able to take a Moonblast, which I'm kind of expecting. He could have also Calm Minded that turn, and if he had, I wouldn't have been able to stay in and go for a Scald. I shouldn't have stayed in for the Scald regardless. I only stayed in this turn because I knew Light Screen would be wearing off, and I wanted to see what he'd do, honestly. I didn't want him to have a T-Bolt, and then Manaphy get wrecked by that. So this Politoed also has Brick Break, although it's calm and minus attack nature. It has Brick Break specifically for breaking screens, so if it didn't wear off, I hadn't exactly been counting turns, but luckily it did wear off, so I didn't have to do that, and I'm able to go to Manaphy, and this is the turn that defines the game. If Clefable does over 50% with his Moonblast, the game is over. Clefable sweeps me dry. There's nothing I can do, but thankfully I'm trying out a new Manaphy set this week, and it's paying off already. It's got just enough speed to outspeed Excadrill, which he didn't even wind up bringing, and you know, the rest is in bulk and a little bit of special attacks, so it's max HP, it's able to eat up this +1 Moonblast, and even the follow-up one as I set up a Tail Glow, and I'm going to be able to rest, and I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO this Clefable and be faster than it. So Manaphy coming in clutch. If his first Moonblast had done over 50% or he'd gotten a crit on the second one, this is a bold Clefable with +1 special defense at that point. It just beats my team. I didn't bring Scizor, and Scizor would have been the only thing that could handle this guy, and we all know how well my team handles Calm Minding Fairy types without Scizor, so coming up, he's got a really shitty decision to make. Right now, I'm sitting in here with a +3 Manaphy in the Rain, so something's dying to surf, and he gets to pick what. He decides in the end that his Mega Charizard X is the most useless thing, which at this point in the match, I would agree with. I have a Quagsire on my team, and Quagsire kind of beats it dry. It's also guaranteed to take 50% damage on entry, and he actually even told me that after the match, of course, that the only reason he brought Zardex was for Flare Blitzing Amoonguss, which I didn't even bring, so its usefulness was just super low, and he decided he had no problem letting it go, which, interestingly, if he had sacrificed his Clefable, he wouldn't have been able to do the next few turns, and I'll explain why. So he goes into Thundurus, he has a free kill on Manaphy, he's faster, I know that, so I'm going to go to Claydol to try and dodge a Thunderbolt or a Thunder or whatever he wants to do, but he goes for Nasty Plot. This gives him a ton of momentum, and the only reason I switched out Manaphy is because Manaphy is my best thing to deal with Clefable. So if Clefable had gone down, I might have stayed in, and this might have been my game right off the bat, because if I surf this Thundurus, the game is pretty much mine, and there's nothing he can do about it. So fantastic play. It took a ton of balls to stay in doing that, but I needed to save Manaphy. He recognized that, and he makes a fantastic play, setting up +2. It just gives him a ton of momentum, and it basically scores him a free kill on both of my walls, because the only way I can take this Thundurus down at this point is to let something die, get a free switch into Politoed, and then switch out of Politoed because I need to save it, because he has a Powdon and he has Sandstorm on Registeel. So, you know, let something else die and go into one of my Swift Swim sweepers. But you know, after Claydol tanked an HP Ice at +2, I thought, you know, maybe I can try and save one of my guys if I get him out on maybe a bit of an HP Ice streak. You know, going into Quagsire, maybe he'll go for continue going for HP Ices. I can get in Politoed for free on an HP Ice. But it doesn't go that way. He turns out to have HP Grass. It doesn't really matter. Both my walls go down anyway. That's just kind of the way he had to go. And this is a very good play. Although it looks like he kind of wastes the turn by going for Thunder. Like, obviously Claydol was coming in. Going for Thunder is still the right move. He's faster than me. He can kill me this turn anyway. And that way he's able to waste the turn of rain and gain a little bit of lefties. So fantastic play when on what really looked like a nothing play. Plus, if like I wanted to be cheeky and go into one of my Swift Swimmers without you know, going to Claydol, it gets a ton of damage on that. So it just kept pressure on, and now I've got to make a decision. I've got 2 Swift Swimmers, both of which can take down this Thundurus. Kingdra's got a lot of power behind it, but he also has that Hippowdon, which I'm really worried about. And I think the only way I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO the thing is if I go to Kabutops, because Kabutops has a little bit higher attack, and you know, it also has a Life Orb, and Kingdra has lefties. So I think my best bet for taking out this Hippowdon is 2 Waterfalls, even though he's going to be able to set up Sand, rather. I should be able to 2-hit KO even a physically bulky set. So Alex also mentioned after the game that he intended for this to be a Pasho berry Hippowdon, which Pasho is a water resist berry. So actually, if he had that, then I think he might have had the game, because I don't have anything that can take an Earthquake right now, and this would not have been a 2-hit KO. So I would have had to rely on a crit or a flinch, or maybe even both. So I'm very fortunate that he wasn't able to find the right item, and I managed to take out the Hippowdon. So I'm fully expecting a Zelf to be coming in next, because Swift Sim's gone. It's going to be able to take an Aqua Jet, and even with a Sandstorm special defense boost, a Grass Knot is going to kick my ass. So I'm going to go to Politoed to take Grass Knot. I'm going to be able to set up Rain again, and then I'll be able to go to Manaphy, because as I said, Manaphy is super light. It doesn't take very much from Grass Knots. I'll be able to rest, I'll be able to Tail Glow, I'll be able to get something going for sure. Maybe predict his Thundurus switching in and get a free kill on that, who knows. So I'm actually in a pretty good spot right now. My Rain is up for max turns until he switches in Registeel, and if he switches in Registeel, that's just free time to set up basically. And both my Swift Swimmers are at max HP or close to it, so I'm in pretty good position. And then he throws out a random T-Bolt. This play really perplexed me. I feel like if he had T-Bolt, he should have gone for it against Kabutops. The Sand Boost wouldn't have made a difference. He would have killed it anyway, and it probably would have killed Politoed on switch-in. So if he pulled that out and gotten Politoed, you know, he'd be in a much better position. But Manaphy manages to live, thankfully, and because he has T-Bolt, I know I can go to Kingdra, and no, I know I'll be able to take that. I'll be able to take it. I'll be able to fight back with a Waterfall. But on the one turn he needs it, he gets a freaking parahax, and that's going to let him set up a Reflect this turn, and it's going to let him basically live hits from Kabutops. But he doesn't. He goes for Grass Knot, which I think is the major mistake he made in this game. Obviously, like, there were other little intricacies where he maybe could have done something different, but he wouldn't have known what I did. I feel like it was fairly obvious that I was going to attack that turn, and I don't think that going for damage was the best use of his free turn that he got there, and I've got to take advantage of it while I can. Obviously, I think a Thundurus Thunder would have killed Kingdra from where it was at before Grass Knot, so with the fact that he just goes into it and goes for Thunder, I feel like that kind of wastes the turn. But regardless, that's what he did. If I had to pick one major blunder for him, that's where it was. And after that goes down, I have one play. Manaphy's going to die to this thing. Politoed's going to die to this thing. My play is Kabutops, and this is where the game takes a little bit of an interesting turn. So far in the match, I've seen 3 of Thundurus' moves. It has Nasty Plot, it has Thunder, it has HP Grass. Both of his attacking moves completely destroy everything I have left, so I've got to get rid of this thing. So Swim is up, so I have an opportunity to, right now, with either Aqua Jet or Waterfall. It just depends on what his 4th move is. If his 4th move is Prankster T-Wave, the best move I can do is Aqua Jet, because Aqua Jet will kill from this range. I've done the calcs, and it beats out Prankster T-Wave because they're both +1 priority, and Kabutops is actually faster in the range, so I would be able to kill this thing off. But then he goes into Registeel, and because Manaphy took a hit, I'd have to let Politoed die, I'd have to let something die, or let Kabutops get paralyzed, so I don't really want to let that happen. So if he doesn't have Prankster T-Wave, he's likely to go into Registeel, and Registeel can live an Aqua Jet and a Waterfall, but it can't live 2 Waterfalls, so I've got to decide if he has Prankster T-Wave, and even if he does have it, does he go for it this turn? So that's the decision I've got to make at this point in the game. After weighing the options, I decided that Kabutops is likely to get paralyzed anyway, and if he wants to stay in, I'm very likely going to kill Thundurus, which is the most threatening thing to my team at this point. So I decided to go for Waterfall, and it winds up being the right choice to make because he switches out into Registeel, and I'm going to be able to 2-hit KO this thing. It came down to the old saying, risk versus reward. I didn't even know if he had Prankster T-Wave at that point, so and because he switched out, I mean he might not have it, so I made the lower risk play, and it pays off. Waterfall is going to deal massive damage to anything he's got, so may as well just go for that, and don't let hidden intangibles slow you down. So because of that play, because I'm able to take a Registeel, the game is almost sealed. Nothing can really stop Kabutops at this point. You know, he needed to live the hits and he wasn't able to. He says he thought Clefable could have lived this hit, but I don't think so. Kabutops Life Orb Adamant in the rain, it's just going to destroy everything. And the rain stops, so now Kabutops is actually slower than Thundurus, so sacrificing Clefable wound up being a fantastic play. It wasted my last turn of rain, and it gives him a chance. It's not a good chance, because as you can see, he winds up actually having Prankster T-Wave, and he manages to get it off. So if he gets 2 paralyses in a row, he wins the game, he cleans me out, but he doesn't even get 1, and Kabutops just finishes the game, and you know, he finished with a little 3 poke sweep there, and I think he comes in a close second for the MVP of the game race, right behind Manaphy, because Manaphy managed to stop Clefable sweep. But that was a very interesting game. Probably one of the most interesting ones I've played all year. It had some crazy priority stuff going on. It had some berries that could have been used but weren't, and had some interesting sacks. It was pretty nuts. So hell of a game, Alex. I'm sad that it didn't work out for you, but I think a lot of the match came down to you know, him not having Pasha Berry Hippowdon and his Azelf misplay. I feel like if he'd gone for Reflect, you know, maybe Registeel lives those hits. Obviously with the crit, maybe that wouldn't have happened, but if the crit did happen, obviously, like, I think I still would have been safe, but maybe Clefable could have lived. Maybe Aqua Jet against Thundurus isn't even an option in my mind because it's not going to kill. I don't know, it was way too intricate, and it's way too hard to theory on something this intricate, so I'm not going to anymore than I already have anyway. So we're moving on into the playoffs. The next game, it's not unimportant because if I win the next game, it's against Fizz, and again, I've already played him this year, but we play him again. But if we win, we got a chance at the bye. It relies on Gubs losing, but if we can get a first round playoff bye, then we are automatically in the Kanto Conference Championship. I'm gunning for that. I'm going to try and get that if I can. So I'll see you guys next week, I guess. Thanks for watching.